What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Drop Balls Podcast. It's your boy Chris, and I hope you all are having a good week. I know things have been crazy with the election. I don't know what side you all lean on, whether it's the left or the right, Republican, Democrat, whatever it is whatever side or outcome that you hoping for. I know it's been crazy, been a roller coaster, up and down, wave of emotions for a lot of people, whatever. But I was supposed to drop this episode Tuesday, but just like everybody else in America and probably the rest of the world, I was stuck glued to the TV and to my computer looking at what was going on. So now I'm dropping the episode. And so I hope you all enjoy. I got a lot to talk about today. We got, not Chicago. The Cowboys finally found their defense. It looks like they finally found their defense. Seattle decided that they wanted to start playing defense this Sunday for week 8. Dolphins showed up and showed out. We got a lot to talk about. But before we get started, let's roll the intro and then we're going to get up into it. All right, so let's get to it. Before we get started, this episode is being brought to you by Black Elephant Brand. If you haven't visited the website yet, make sure you visit blackelephantbrand.com and use the code DROPBALLS to get 15% off of your first purchase. There's a lot of stuff up on the website. It's fall time. All of the fall clothing is out now. So go ahead and go to the website. Use the code DROPBALLS, get 15% off your first purchase. I will put the website down in the description as well as the discount code. Also, this episode is being brought to you by Thrive Fantasy app. If you like making prop bets, go ahead and download the Thrive Fantasy app today. And once you sign up, they will match you. Well, once you sign up, first of all, use the code DROPBALLS20. And when you use that code and after you make your first deposit, Thrive will match you up to $50 on whatever your deposit was. So if it was $20, they'll match you $20. If it was $30, they'll match you $30, all the way up to $50. So on and so forth, all the way up to $50. It is available on iTunes and the Google Play Store. And Thrive, they take out all of the guesswork and all of the research out because they only ask you questions on your top tier players in their respective sports. So you don't have to do a lot of research, because it's the best players of their sport. And right now, all we got is football going on anyway. So go ahead and download the Thrive Fantasy app. I will put that link down at the bottom as well. And I will also put the discount code or the code down there as well. So that way you can get your money matched. But we got a lot to talk about today. But before we go into, week 8 of the football season, I do want to give you all my players of the week. And so I'm going to start off with the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And that goes to Patrick Mahomes. Him and the Kansas City Chiefs, they took on, who was it? I believe it was give me a second. They took on the New York Jets. So, they didn't take on a difficult team, but Patrick Mahomes had a good game. He had what we expect from Patrick Mahomes every Sunday or whenever they play. But he went 31 for 42, 416 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, the NFC Player of the Week, that's going to go to another Seahawk player because last week I gave it to Tyler Lockett. This week I got to give it to DK Metcalf. Bruh had 12 receptions, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and they just destroyed the San Francisco 49ers. AFC Defensive Player of the Week, that is going to go to the whole Miami Dolphins defense. We did not see, at least I didn't see it coming, that they were going to handle the LA Rams like they did. They had 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And they just made the Rams struggle all game. Now, remember, their head coach, he was I forget his name. I got to look it up. I can't be forgetting coaches' names, man. But He was the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots that year they played the Rams in the Super Bowl, and we all saw what they did to the Rams that year. But yeah, he had that defense looking right. Miami was out there balling. Brian Flores, that's his name. That's right. But their defense was out there balling. They're very physical. They're very aggressive. A very aggressive defense, and we forget about, because he got injured, I believe it was last year. But we forget about Xavier Howard. He's probably one of the best man-to-man corners in the game. He's one of the best, and he's aggressive. He's physical. He's big, and he's gonna get after you. And he balled out too. That whole defense just balled out. They swarmed the ball. They was all over the field, man. They played lights out. Now the NFC Defensive Player of the Week goes to Trayvon Diggs. Now he did get burned a couple times. You know, he did get worked a couple times against the Eagles. But he had 2 interceptions. For the most part, he did his thing. He had 2 interceptions. He balled out. He did what he needed to do. Now, this takes me to the Philadelphia Eagles, man. That game, the NFC East, we all know it's a weak division. The Eagles are they're the leaders of that division right now. And the Cowboys, they look like they just had issues with the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like they finally found their defense. They look like they were swarming the field. They were getting after the quarterback. Carson Wentz upset me. You know, I've been one of the biggest Carson Wentz defenders, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but he upset me this game. And yeah, the Cowboys, my bad, y'all. The Cowboys just got after it. They did what they needed to do. And so, I mean, they still lost the game, but for Cowboys fans, that game might have gave them a little bit of hope, at least in the NFC East, at least to take the crown away from Philly in the NFC East to get that number 1 seed, so that way they can go in there and get a home game in the playoffs. Now, I don't know how good they will do in the playoffs, but they will at least get a home game in the playoffs if they win their division. But, you know, I just wasn't sold on the way Philly was playing. Now, I know a couple of weeks ago I said Philly is a decent team. You know, I don't think they're as bad as their record suggests they are. But, you know, after that game, their record, I mean, they might be as bad as their record suggests that they are. But Dallas Cowboys, they forced 4 turnovers. Carson Wentz threw 2 interceptions, had 2 fumbles. He only threw for 123 yards. Denichi, he didn't do too much better. I mean, he threw for 180 yards, but no touchdowns, no interceptions. He at least didn't turn over the ball. Well, I think he had a fumble, but he had 2 fumbles. He at least didn't throw any interceptions, but he had 2 fumbles. He's a rookie. That's expected. Zeke doesn't really look like himself. You know, he had 63 yards on like 17 or 19 carries, no touchdowns, couldn't really get anything going against Philly's defense. And Philly's defense is pretty good, especially the pass rush and the run defense. That's pretty good. Now, their secondary suspect, but against the Cowboys, they didn't really need to do much in the secondary because they had a rookie quarterback back there that really is not that good, I don't think. But yeah, that game was hard to watch, and I was kind of upset that was the Monday night or the Sunday night game. I think they should have, with the way that division is going, they should have just switched the games. Like, I would have rather seen the Seahawks play that Sunday night game rather than the Cowboys and the Eagles. Now, we're going to stay in the NFC East because I want to talk about the New York Giants, and they actually made it a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Defense showed up. They played pretty good. Now, I know Tampa Bay won 25-23, but, you know, that defense played pretty good. I think the offense put the defense in bad situations. They were up 14-6 at going into halftime. And then out of halftime, they're up 14-6. Deion Lewis or the New York Giants, they get the ball after the half in the second half, or in the second half they get the ball. Deion Lewis puts them in good field position. He gets up to the 44-yard line, 45-yard line, and I think it was like 2 plays later, Daniel Jones or whatever his name is, Danny Dimes, throws an interception. Daniel Jones, that's his name. Yeah. 2 plays later, he throws it. He tries to step up in the pocket, and a defender's right behind him, like, putting pressure on him. And I think he grabs him, but he still throws the ball and threw a pick. He underthrew the ball and threw a pick. And honestly, I think he cost them the game. He threw picks at crucial times. I mean, they're up. Every time they were up, he threw an interception, which led to Tampa Bay scoring some points. Now, like I said, New York Giants defense was playing lights out. Their defense, they gave up 2 touchdowns, 4 field goals. One field goal was one field goal and 1 touchdown was from an interception from Daniel Jones, and putting them in bad position on defense. Now, Daniel Jones threw 2 iffy interceptions. Like, these interceptions was like, really? You really gonna throw that? Because one was, and I'm gonna show the videos. The first one, like I said, was after halftime where he tried to step up in the pocket. I believe that was the first one. I'm gonna check my facts. Because I like to be correct. I don't like to give y'all wrong information. So, yeah, first interception was after halftime. So after halftime, 2 plays into their drive, he throws an interception. He steps up, and I believe, or this might have been the one when he rolled out, where he tried to roll out or something. I can't get him correct because it was just too many. It was too many for my liking. But it was just contested. Both of them were where he was trying to do too much when he probably should just threw the ball away. He underthrew the ball. The DB came down and intercepted the ball. Now, there was also one that it would have been a third one. I think on that last drive of one of their last drives or their second to last drive of the game or something like that. And he did, and he tried to do too much. He stepped up, underthrew the ball, but I think it was Darius Slayton that came back down to the ball and caught it and got the first down. I think that was their last drive that they scored on or whatever, and all they needed was a 2-point conversion to win the game. So yeah, that was their very last drive. But he just tries to do too much, and it turns into a interception. Like the first interception, he tried to throw the ball away. He underthrew it. He was throwing it to Sterling Shepard, underthrew it, and it got picked off. Second one, he was trying to throw it to Golden Tate, underthrew it, got picked off. And now I think it was on the second one that if he would have stayed with it, if he would have stayed with his first option, Sterling Shepard, it was either Shepard or Slayton that was open. He beat the DB down the field and was just wide open. There was, like, right on the sideline. There was nobody else there. And all he had to do was just toss it up to him. That's 6. But he rushed off his first look, went to the second look, got pressured, and then threw an interception. And it's just like, and this is what I was saying about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones are one and the same. Or Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, they're one and the same. They try to do too much, and they cost their teams the game. Now, yeah, Daniel Jones had the game-winning, or what would have been the game-winning touchdown and 2-point conversion. Threw a beautiful pass to Golden Tate in the end zone. Beautiful pass in the end zone to Golden Tate. And then on the 2-point conversion, he was trying to throw it to Dion Lewis, but he threw the ball late. It was on like the little flare, well, not flare route, but little out route, from the running back position. And he threw the ball late, first of all. There was a PI on the play. Winfield did run into Dion Lewis before the ball got there. That was a PI. But had Daniel Jones led Dion Lewis, rather than he actually threw the ball behind. He threw it late and behind. So Dion Lewis had to stop. He got ran into. 2-point conversion, no good. Couldn't tie the game up. Had he led Dion Lewis to the pylon, that would have been 2 points. They would have tied the game up. They would have went into overtime. But like I said, him and Carson Wentz, they're one and the same. They try to do too much, and they cost their teams the game. When they try to do too much, it leads to turnovers. Carson Wentz had 2 fumbles because he was trying to do like all type of stuff and get out the pocket and all this other stuff. He had 2 fumbles and he also had the 2 interceptions because he's trying to just make something out of nothing and then just throws the ball up. Now in Philly, the wind was blowing 11 miles per hour. And he's trying to throw these deep balls with these high arcing passes like Russell Wilson, trying to do a little rainbow floater or whatever. And he threw one to who was it? Fulgham, I believe. And it would have been a touchdown. Fulgham looked like he was actually running a post, like a skinny post. And Carson Wentz just threw the ball up, and the ball looked like it just sailed. It just sailed. Trayvon Diggs broke off the route and picked it off. The other one, I believe, was to Rieger in the end zone. And he had like a deep, I don't know what he ran, but I know he started running across the end zone when he saw Carson Wentz trying to scramble out to the right. Carson Wentz threw the ball. I believe this was before halftime, too. Carson Wentz threw the ball, and Trayvon Diggs picked it off in the end zone. He just tries to do too much. 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. Same with Daniel Jones. And now Daniel Jones has played, I believe it was 27 games or something, and it was some crazy stat where he's played this many games, and in every game but one, he's had a turnover. Every single game but one, he's had a turnover. It was somewhere in the 20s. I don't remember exactly how many games it was. I believe it was like 22 games. In 21 of those games, he's had turnovers. That's ridiculous. And I don't even know why the Giants took him at number 6. When they took him at number 6, I was scratching my head. Last year, I was like, still scratching my head. And then this season, first game, I said something that, Daniel Jones looks good, looked like he made some progress. And now I'm looking like, he still looks the same. It looks like the same Daniel Jones to me. Like he's not doing anything better, not going through his progressions any better, making the same mistakes, turning the ball over. Now I know they hurt because they don't have Saquon Barkley, but their running backs didn't do a bad job. And, they actually did really well against one of the best run defenses in the league. And that defense stepped up. Like the defense did really well. They held Tampa Bay to 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. Now, anytime my defense just gives up field goals, I'm good with that. Offense got to go out there and make plays and do something. Our quarterback got to make plays and do something. But anyway, so now that's my rant for the NFC East and those 2 games. But now we're going to go to the Dolphins and the Rams. Now, that defense, like I raved about them earlier, that defense brought the pressure all day. They forced 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles. The offense was okay. Tua started this game. They benched Fitzpatrick for whatever reason. Well, they wanted to get a look at Tua. And from what I had been reading is that the reason they wanted to give Tua a look right now was because they wanted to see what they had in him before this draft. And the reason that was because they have the Texans draft pick, and depending on, the Texans look like they're terrible, so they're probably going to get a pretty good first round draft pick out of, from the Texans. But so they wanted to see what they had in Tua before the draft came. And now Tua, he played all right. I felt like he was thrown into the fire. I don't think this was a good week to play him. I think that if they wanted to play him this early, they should have played him when they played the Jets in week 6, I believe. They should have played him then because that would have been a perfect game to get him introduced to the NFL game for. But like I said, he did okay. He was 12 for 22. He wasn't too impressive, but 12 for 22, 93 yards and a touchdown. Now the touchdown pass he threw was magnificent. It was a great pass. Threw it low so only his receiver could get it right in the end zone. And I believe it was Devontae Parker that went down and caught the ball. But it was a beautiful pass. And like I said, I just think they started him too soon. That defense, we're going to be talking about that defense a lot for years to come. The defense is set up nicely. It's just the offense needs to catch up. And I think with all these draft picks, the offense probably will catch up. They need to get a running back. Travis Etienne comes out this year. If they have a high enough pick and they still believe in Tua, I think Miami takes ETN with whatever pick they have in the first round, because you can't pass up on a talent like that, like ETN. You can't. So I think they take Travis Etienne with their pick if they're comfortable with Tua, if he shows progress throughout the season, or throughout the rest of the season, the remainder of the season. Like I said, I think it was too early for them to start him though, because the Dolphins they were building chemistry. Fitzpatrick, that offense was building chemistry. They were getting better every week. Fitzpatrick was getting better every week. I think he had one game where he threw like 3 interceptions, but he also threw like 3 touchdowns that game or something like that. But they were just getting better every week. They were gaining chemistry, and right in the middle of the season, you just destroy that offensive chemistry. But like I said, they wanted to see what they had into it. They wanted to see what they had into it, and that's fine. The Ravens and Steelers, man, that was a great game. That was a great game for early morning game, because over here on the West Coast we had the Steelers playing the Ravens, and we also had the Rams playing the Dolphins. That was what we saw up here in Seattle. But yeah, I mean, that was an amazing game. If you turn from that game, you might have missed something. It was close. It was a hard-fought game. I think the Ravens had the ball the last drive with a chance to win the game or tie the game up or something like that, and they just couldn't get it done. Now, Lamar Jackson got to be better. He doesn't look like he progressed. I mean, the beginning of the season, he looked like he was progressing. Looked like he had progressed a lot from last year, and I thought he was going to be lights out. But he looks like he's regressed. Well, not even regressed a little bit. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if he's making the right reads. I think he tries to force things sometimes. He has to take care of the ball. This game he threw 2 interceptions. I think he had 2 fumbles as well this game, or 3 fumbles and lost 2 or something like that. But yeah, he had 3 fumbles and lost 2. But threw 2 interceptions. He also threw 2 touchdowns. He didn't have a rushing touchdown this game though. But the Steelers, man, the Steelers are the real deal. And also, I think the Ravens need to get Lamar Jackson another receiver, because Willie Snead and Hollywood Brown ain't going to cut it. Now, I know they went and got Dez, and Dez is on the practice squad, so it's only a matter of time that Dez probably actually joins the team, the 53-man roster, but they got to do something. They do got Duvernay, so we'll see how he develops as a receiver, but he only had 1 pass for 39 yards. So they're not even, throwing his way. He had 3 targets. Mark Andrews, he gets the bulk of their targets. They got to get him somebody other than a tight end, because that's who he targets the most, is Mark Andrews. That's the most chemistry. Now, Willie Snead, he did have like 7 targets this game, and he went off. He had 5 receptions, 105 yards. So, I mean, he did pretty well, but they got to get him somebody else, somebody that can get off of jams, somebody that can get open. Marquis Brown, Hollywood, he's fast, but he's small. I mean, and it's not even like he's built. Like, because, I mean, Tyreek is small, but Tyreek is kind of jacked. Tyreek Hill, he's kind of jacked. Hollywood ain't nothing like that. He just tiny, man. He's like John Ross, just tiny. But yeah, they gotta get him some more weapons, and Lamar just has to be better. He has to protect the ball. But like I said, Steelers, man. I said this last week, and my boy Damian Adams from the Real Deal with Damian Adams podcast, he's been saying it. That's who I got it from, and it's really made me watch the Steelers. That they might be the most complete team in the NFL. Defense, offense, everything. Their defense was after Lamar Jackson the whole game. Offense, they're just clicking. Big Ben really don't have to do much. I mean, he's been okay, but like, he threw for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, but his receivers make it do what it do, man. And they're a solid team. Their pass rush is ridiculous with T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. The middle backer that replaced the backer that replaced Devin Bush, he's been solid. They actually just traded for Avery Williamson from the Jets, so they have another backer that they can put on the field, and they doing what they need to do, man. Now the midday game that we got over here was the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers. I'm going to start by saying this. Jimmy Garoppolo is 100% overrated. He's not a good quarterback. He thrived last year off of that running game. And people will say, oh, well, every team needs a balance, blah, blah, blah. There's some teams, man, dude just go out there and throw the ball. Like, the quarterback just balls. Jimmy Garoppolo ain't that. And yes, I know he had a high ankle sprain, but everything when I was playing football was if you're out there, I don't want to hear nothing about you injured. You out there playing. So I don't want to hear that you injured. If you can't make the throws, then you need to sit your behind down and let Nate Mullins come in and do his thing, which he did because Jimmy Garoppolo ended up going out and Nate Mullins came in and he tried to single-handedly bring the 49ers back. He went 18 for 25, 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not saying that he should replace Jimmy Garoppolo, but I'm just saying, like, Jimmy couldn't do anything. And he got hurt, had to go sit on the bench. He's out indefinitely now. He went 11 for 16 and 85 yards and then left the game with an injury. And I think he had an interception. So he really didn't do anything in that game to contribute to them winning. He was sacked 3 times. Which I don't know if it was just Jimmy sucks and their offense is terrible. I'm not going to go that far to say their offense is terrible, but I mean, I don't know what it is. Either Seattle's defense just showed up for this game or the 49ers are just that bad to where they made their defense look good. Because I was for sure Jimmy was about to go out there and throw all over Seattle because, I mean, that's what we see every week from Seattle's defense is they just get thrown all over. But their defense showed up. They locked up. They did what they needed to do. Well, I mean, they kind of locked up. Brandon Ayuk still had a day. He had a pretty good game. But Jimmy was sacked 3 times. DK did what he does. He had over almost half of Russell Wilson's passing yards. Russ threw for 261. DK had 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. Russ, I think, had 4 touchdowns, and I think Russ is trying to break that 50. He's trying to fight for that. He's fighting for his life for that MVP trophy this year. I'm putting it out there. Russ is trying to have a year where he wins the MVP trophy. This is the year that he's trying to, because, you know, Russ has always been, about the team. But this year he's trying to get that individual accolade. He's trying to get that accolade. But yeah, he threw for 261, 4 touchdowns. He had a really good game. And I mean, they look good. Now, Russ is going to get an MVP. He's going to get MVP votes this year. He has to. But I'm not going to say he's the sure-in to win the MVP because you still got Patrick Mahomes that's balling. That's only thrown 1 interception. Now, Russ has 26 touchdowns and I think 6 interceptions. But Patrick Mahomes has 22 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's balling. You got Aaron Rodgers who's still balling. I mean, they haven't been too good in the past weeks, but he's still doing his thing, man. Like, what he got right now. So, yeah, Patrick Mahomes is at 2,315 yards, 21 touchdowns and an interception. So Russ is at 2,151 yards, 26 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And Aaron Rodgers is at 1,948 yards with 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So all 3 of them dudes are balling, and they're for sure going to be in the MVP conversation. But yeah, so, you know, that's what I think is going to happen. Like I said, Seattle's defense showed up. Let's see if they can continue that. This week they played the Buffalo Bills. So I'm interested to see how that game turns out. I'm interested to see what they're able to do against the Buffalo Bills, and if the Bills are able to take advantage of that porous defensive secondary, because their linebackers are nice. You know, Bobby Wagner does his thing, and Bobby Wagner actually had like 2 or 3 sacks that game. So and that's not normal, but Bobby Wagner created the pressure and had like 2 or 3 sacks. And so I want to see what they're going to do against the Bills. That's going to be an interesting game. Another game I'm looking forward to this week is the Saints and the Buccaneers. The Bucks get AB. They signed him 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So now they get AB. He's eligible to play for week 9. I don't know if Godwin's going to be healthy, but, if you have Mike Evans, Godwin, and AB, that's very dangerous. Now, I know some people they don't like the AB signing. I believe in second chances. AB has been quiet for the past few months. I don't know if he's gotten the help that he needs, whatever. I'm pretty sure there were some stipulations that were put on him when he signed. He's staying with Tom Brady during the duration of this season. So, I hope he has his head on right. I hope he is able to see the wrong things that he has done and that how he almost cost himself his NFL career because being out there being an idiot. Now, the things that he's been accused of, I'm not going to get into that, but I hope he pays for the things that he's been accused of. But like I said, I do believe in second chances, third, fourth, fifth chances, whatever. And I believe he should get that chance as long as he has changed his ways and has corrected his wrongs. But I'm looking forward to that game. I'm also looking forward to the Dolphins and the Cardinals game because we just saw the Dolphins tear up the Rams. Now the Dolphins, they've run through the NFC West. They had a close game with Seattle. Seattle pulled that out. They blew out the 49ers. They made the Rams look like some little kids. Now they play the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are one of my favorites to make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy, but now everybody's saying the Cardinals are one of those dark horse teams, and I'm the one that called it at the beginning. So I'm looking forward to seeing that game. Who else? I'm recording this on a Wednesday night. Tomorrow, today, whatever, however y'all want to call it, because I'm putting it out Thursday morning. But 49ers play the Packers. I think the Packers are going to take that one because 49ers are they got like hella people on injury reserve. Everybody's hurt. Nate Mullins is a starting quarterback this week, I believe. So I think the Packers are going to have a field day. But yeah, those are the games I'm looking for. The line right now is Tampa Bay by 7 points. I'm going to take that spread. The over-under is 48.5. I'm going to take the under. Now, like I said, y'all can go to Thrive Fantasy app and y'all can make these bets on Thrive Fantasy app, these prop bets on Thrive Fantasy app. But I'm taking the under of 48.5. And I'm going to take the line that Green Bay is going to meet that spread, that 7-point spread. Green Bay is going to beat them by 7 plus. Oh yeah, my Colts take on the Ravens this weekend, so that's going to be interesting. I get to see what goes on with that. But yeah, man, that's really all I had. I didn't have really a big episode today, but like I said, Carson Wentz, man. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the thing. Now I've been one of Carson Wentz's biggest supporters, and I try to make every excuse for Carson Wentz because I believe that he has all the talent in the world. And when he came out, what was it, like 4 years ago, he looked like he was gonna be that dude. Then he got hurt. Then the next year he got hurt. Then the next year he got hurt. And actually, his last season he actually played the whole season and got hurt in the playoffs. But I really thought he was gonna be that dude. And from what I've seen from him lately, yes, his whole offensive line is hurt. All his receivers are hurt. He's playing with Fulgham and their rookie draft pick Rieger, and just some other receivers that they got out there on the field. Ertz is hurt, and he's playing with these dudes. And because Fulgham, he was on the practice squad to start this season, and he was a 6th-round draft pick. He was on the practice squad to start this season, and he was on the practice squad for Green Bay. And the Eagles brought him in, so he's playing for the Eagles. But all his receivers are hurt. His starting receivers are injured. And they're winning games, but Carson Wentz, he just don't. I can't say he's the dude that I thought he was, man. Like, I really can't continue to ride that wave. I believe him and Daniel Jones are one and the same. And I was hoping that Carson Wentz would get it together. Their offense would get it together, and they would finally start putting things together. And it doesn't look like that's happening. Now, I think they have a bye week this week, and then they come back in week 10. Who do they play in week 10? Let me see. Week 10, I believe they come back and they play. It's not the Redskins. It's the Giants. So they're 3-4, 3-4-1. They play the 1-7 Giants in week 10. Now, I think they'll beat them, but I think Carson Wentz needs to be better. He has 12 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, and he has a bunch of fumbles. He has a 49.9 QBR, which is terrible. What's his stats looking like for turnovers? Let me see his fumbles. They won't even show his fumbles. But yeah, I know he has a lot of fumbles. Hold on, I'm about to bring that up. Never mind. They won't even show me his fumbles. But yeah, so he has to get it together. He has to be better. If he wants their team to be better, he has to make it do what it do. But that's all I have for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the show. I am going to drop an episode this Saturday as well, but it's going to be a little different. I'm going to have my homeboy Robin on the show. I went to school with him at Bethany College. He ran track. I ran track with him at Bethany College in Kansas. And he's a personal trainer now, and he's also trying to get into the music industry. So I'm gonna have an episode with him. We're gonna be talking about a little bit about his music and his journey into the music industry, and giving him a spotlight to put him out there. But I'm gonna have him on the show this weekend. I'm gonna drop that episode this weekend as well, and hopefully y'all can get a chance to go check out his music. And see if y'all like it. If y'all like it, y'all like it. If you don't, you don't. But if you like it, share it, and just keep it going. But that's all I have for y'all. Make sure y'all check out Drop Balls Pod. Yeah, Drop Balls Pod on IG and Twitter. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel Redacted Media and Drop Balls Podcast on YouTube. Make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to that. Redacted Media. I'm gonna put that link down at the bottom as well. Well, actually, the video is gonna be on that station on YouTube, or that channel on YouTube. So make sure y'all subscribe. Hit that like button on the video. Share the video with your friends, your family, whoever. Share the page with your friends, family, whoever. Man, like just help your boy out. Get the word out there. Get the page out there. Get the podcast out there. If you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or on Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast at, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave some comments on the Apple Podcasts. Yeah, that's all I got for you. So until Saturday, until next time, y'all be easy. Peace.